I would have to say that that's the best opening we've ever had.
Best opening, yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
So good.
All right. Hey, everybody, thank you for joining us here. Sorry for the delays. That's my fault. I tweeted the wrong links, got a bunch of crazy stuff set up, but we're on board now. We're going to roll with old Beast Mode Cowboy Caleb Reynolds himself. So, yeah, I appreciate you being here, Caleb. Thanks a lot, dude, for your time.
No problem, Spence. I'm honored to be here with you two. I enjoyed you guys' gameplay last year. I watched it, and although I enjoyed Big Brother, and I wanted to meet all of you in general. I didn't really have a special one I wanted to meet, but while I was in LA, I actually got to meet you guys, and you guys are freaking awesome, and I enjoyed every minute hanging out with you guys. So
same goes for.
I'm ecstatic to be here right now, so thank you guys.
Same goes for you.
Absolutely. And in all honesty, I want to thank you for your graciousness. At those BB finale rap parties, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
And Caleb, you and even Derek and Cody, y'all all made time to talk with us. And I don't know if you remember, because it was a crazy night, but when I came up to you, I said, hey, they're going to try to pull you apart. We'll talk later. But, man, I appreciate you posing for photos. And people were all over you. It was a fun time.
Yeah, it was good stuff. It's good stuff. I went from seeing 3 people for a while to 4,000 trying to rip my body parts off. So it was a little different.
It's crazy. It really is crazy.
Yeah, I wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah, no joke. You can't prepare for it. You just gotta handle it as it comes. Caleb, I want to get rolling with you right quick here. We all kind of like to start out in the same spot. Tell us about basically where you became aware of Big Brother as a TV show, and then where you went from just somebody that was aware of it to wanting to be on it to being on it. Walk us through your whole experience with Big Brother and the casting. Get us into casting, please.
All right. So, it all started out, I've always wanted to be in entertainment, doing something entertainment, whether it be, music or whether it be acting or, just something. That way people could see who I was as a person. And, I want to make people laugh, and I want to just give other people a little bit of the light that I have to share. And, so I tried out for Amazing Race, and I'm not exactly sure what happened with that. Well, I think we were late on the deadline to getting in. I think we were a day late. But out of the clear blue, I got an email, and they basically said, hey, well, would you be interested in Big Brother? And I was like, well, to be honest with you, I've heard of it, but I haven't really watched it. So I really don't want to get thrown into a pack of wolves because I really have no idea what Big Brother entails. So they were like, well, just watch a little bit of it and, get back with us. And if you, like it or you think you would be good at it or you want to do it, just let us know. So I was like, all right, cool. And, I watched a few seasons of it. And I was like, hey, man, that stuff's pretty cool. I might like it. So that's where the interview process started. I ended up making it through the finale or the finals. And, there I was on Big Brother. I kind of went into it not knowing exactly how to play the game, or I didn't go in with a certain strategy. I just went into it going, all right, man, this is my time to shine, play a game, just have some fun, meet some people for the summer, and try to, bring home $500,000, so me and my family could, possibly get some debt paid off and live a little bit of a different lifestyle. So, I kind of went into it blind, but, I think there's more than just me that went into it that same way.
Yeah.
So, it was kind of a blind moment for me, but it all started out with the Amazing Race, and the next thing you know, I was asked to be on Big Brother. So that's how I got there.
I just want to say that you did shine your light. You did show all of us that you were an entertainer. You killed that whole season with entertainment value. Just watching you was the most fun. I had so many laughs. Dude, you kept us all entertained, and for that I just have to salute you, man, because that was amazing. You did such a good job.
Thank you, bud.
Yeah, Caleb, you were definitely entertaining. Let's talk about when you get to the house. You're kind of a new fan of the game, doing it just for the experience, trying to win a little bit of money, and you get in there and you find out there's going to be 2 HOHs and 4 nominees. What were your thoughts when you started learning these twists?
When that twist came to me, I thought, okay, I have watched, quite a few seasons of Big Brother. and this has nothing to do with the stuff that I've been watching. They completely threw something at me that I wasn't expecting. Just like I said, my strategy going in was just to simply just be me as a person, and just try to make it as far as I could, because I really didn't know much about it. But from what I've been seeing, it's just one HOH, 2 nominees, a POV, and, it is what it is at that point. But you get the first twist, and it's 2 HOHs, and then it's 4 nominees. And I thought to myself, holy cow, I probably will end up on the block very soon, with there being 4 nominees. So, with that first twist that came up, it mind-boggled me. I just knew that I wasn't the only one that was mind-boggled. I'm sure all 16 of us were in the same situation, so I knew if all of them could handle it, I could handle it too. So I just went with the punches.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
did you go in and like? Yeah. Did you like? Was it because of the twist that you wanted to win the first HOH, or is it just because you're Beast Mode Cowboy that you wanted to win the first HOH?
Well, I went into it. I'd say numerous times it's really not in my DNA to just give up or throw a competition or lose in general. I don't like to lose, but I know that I can't win everything. I'm not the best in the world at everything that I do. So.
Oh, come on. Do not sell yourself short. Don't sell yourself short. Okay, you are the best.
I'm not going to sell myself short, but, I knew I couldn't win every.
Oh, we have lost Caleb.
Did his phone die, you think?
No.
I don't know.
I got a phone call. Hey, I'm back on, baby.
Oh, God.
Anyway.
That man's handling business.
With, when that, man, where was that at? When,
you can't, you're not the best at everything, but you're pretty damn good at everything.
Going into it, when I heard that the HOH could possibly send on a block, I was like, dude, I mean, no one's safe, so, I mean, why not win the HOH and at least better my chances? I thought about throwing it, that way people would kind of see me as a weak link. But once again, my military stature, my morals, and my my standards got in the way, and they were like, "No, man, you can't do that. You have to play as hard as you can and give it all you got." And so I went into it trying to win it, and I went in and won it, and then I was hoping that I didn't get dethroned and put on the block.
Yeah. Since you mentioned right quick, Caleb, will you tell us a little bit about your service in the military, what rank you held, and just briefly, any tours that you've done? I know, obviously, Baghdad.
Right. I joined the military right out of high school, 2007. I just served in the National Guard for a while. Then I went to Dallas. I joined an active duty unit, and an infantry unit. They were deploying. I volunteered for the deployment. I felt like I needed to do my time. I didn't just want to sit here and pretend and play it, but not serve my country. You know what I mean? They
Absolutely.
are serving their country, but for me, I felt like I needed to go and do it for myself. So I moved to Texas. I deployed with the unit in 2009. I went to Baghdad, Iraq. I was there for roughly a year. Half of the deployment, I worked in a penitentiary over there, so I was working with all the bad guys, and the other half of the deployment, I worked on the outside, kind of like QRF, type stuff. And it's basically it, man. I came home, and I was part of the infantry division, and I got out as a corporal, E4, and I got out in 2010. I ETS'd.
Wow.
Do you think that your military background, do you think that helped you in the game? Did that hurt you in the game? Explain how that all affected your gameplay in the house.
I do strongly believe that there are different aspects in my military career that helped me, physically. Being, an ex-military guy, I've always been a physical guy, along with the sports and playing sports in high school and stuff. But the military, has kept me in shape and all that. So I knew a lot of the physical and endurance competitions would probably more than likely be a breeze. But as far as what has the Army taught me as a man, and what is it, instilled in me is honor and loyalty, integrity, respect, dignity, and none of those are just words to me. I live those in my everyday life. I value each one of those at a very high potential. And going into that game, I thought, I'm just going to be me, and I was me, and being loyal like I was throughout the whole game. I would say that it got me to where I was because I was so loyal. But at the end of the day, I think me being too loyal and being too, honorable and having too much integrity and having too much trust is what sent me out of the game. So, I do think it was a benefit going in, but once again, I think it was not so much a benefit going out.
Okay, well, let's build up to the going out part and where your honesty and your loyalty really served you very well in the game. And it really all began with the bomb squad, okay?
Right.
So, at this point, you obviously know about the detonators and all this other stuff, but let's start with bomb squad. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Let's start with bomb squad and go all the way up to the time that basically the bomb squad fractured.
All right.
So. Walk me through it. Tell me about the bomb squad foreman.
All right. Of course, Frankie and I had won the first 2 HOHs, and we kind of formed a little thing between us on day 2, and it was kind of sort of a final 2 deal. We just basically said that we think we could both make it to the end, and cool. I knew him for a day, and we just made that. But I liked Frankie as a guy, and that's where the bomb squad started. It was at Frankie and I winning the first 2 HOHs. And, we just we thought we cannot do this alone. I think I would say it was more so my idea than Frankie's, but he played in on it too. But we need to form something very strong and very, very great to get us through this game, and let's try to form a huge alliance. Let's do this, and that's kind of where it started. Next thing you know, Devin was involved, and because Devin, he was one of my close friends at the very beginning. As soon as I walked in the house, so then it was Devin, and then Devin was saying that Cody was a good guy. So then we brought Cody in, and then Zach was cool with Cody. So then Zach was in, and so it just kind of went uphill from there. And then the bomb squad was formed within the first week. And then I'm daggum sleeping, and Devin comes in my room at 5:30 in the morning, and I got boogers dripping off my eyelids. He comes in and brings Amber and Christine in and tells me that they know everything. And I was, at that time, the bomb squad was the members, we had 6 members. So I'm thinking, all right, it's 5. I don't know if I'm dreaming. I'm like, is this real? He's like, hey, man, they know everything. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, they know it, man. They just know everything. And I was like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. And so, he told them everything. I wanted to keep Amber and Christine not in the alliance, but keep them close because I felt Christine knew the game like she wrote it. And then Amber, she was a physical competitor. So I definitely wanted to keep both of them close. That way we could have them as the female side of the game close to us, in that aspect. And the next thing you know, I don't know, Dave, whatever, Amber and Christine became part of the bomb squad. And,
no good.
We got blew up a couple times. We got detonated. So.
Well, I'll tell you this. Let's. Amber plays kind of an interesting role in your Big Brother story for a couple reasons. One is y'all's early. Your early. I hate to call it infatuation, but your early, relationship kept you. McCrae and I talked about it on our podcast. It kept you in a cocoon. You didn't fuck up. Even though you weren't in the detonators, Zach was screwing his stuff up. You know what I'm saying? Like, Christine was screwing her stuff up. So, by you staying loyal and honest to a group that was not being loyal and honest to you, you really embedded yourself in there with them because you were shown to be a loyal and honest alliance member, even though you weren't officially in that alliance. And trustworthy with your personality from from a viewer of feeds and the broadcast episodes, you can look at Beast Mode Cowboy as like pre-Amber's eviction and then post-Amber's eviction. Once Amber left, I mean, you came to life, brother. You came to life. You played a hell of a game. At that point, your cards had already been dealt to you that you didn't know about the detonators, you didn't know all this stuff, but your loyalty and your honesty and your upfrontness with people kept you in good graces. So it's like, who gives a shit what you know and don't know if you're staying in because of what you're doing it right. So, you know what I'm saying? Just because you didn't know the name of an alliance, it don't make a shit. All those people were so loyal to you, and you were loyal to them. So, I want to talk about since we're on to Amber. Do you think that you ruined Amber's game?
Well, you know, I think we all have our suspicions on who ruined whose game and all that. You know, would I say I ruined her game? I'm not gonna say that, no, because we all play our each individual game. And if I would have put her on the block and wanted her to go home and that was all me throughout the whole game, I would say, yes, I ruined her game. But I also felt that in a way that because of me, she was still in the game. You know, now, is that the truth? Maybe not, but that's how I felt while I was in the house. You know, because everyone was talking about putting her up or kicking her out, and I'm like, no, man, you know, like, what's the purpose? Like, why would we do that? So, you know, in a way, I don't really feel like I hurt her game. Now, as a you know, she could possibly be saying that I did ruin her game. But I don't understand how I was ruining her game when I'm winning comps and not putting her on the block. I'm only saving her game, not coming after her as an individual. I don't know how that is called ruining her game. Now, I do see in that aspect of, you know, having a crush on Amber, and that was, you know, that was all it was. Yes, I had a crush on her. I liked her. But, you know, obviously she didn't feel the same. But with that being said, you know, I was never told that she didn't. No one ever told me. She didn't tell me. All the guys in the house, they didn't tell me. They kept pushing it up, you know. They kept telling me, no, man, Amber's into you. She likes you. Just, you know, don't give up. You know, they kept saying those things to me. So, you know, I kept being me. You know, I was just being me as a guy, and you know, it was like, man, I like her, and I mean, if there's one thing that I don't get out of this game, and I don't win $500,000, maybe, you know, winning Amber means more. But you know, it didn't work out that way. But you know, no, I don't think I ruined her game. Now, do I think maybe some aspects in the game it was throwing her off, or maybe pushing her away and keeping her mind off the game? Yes, I could agree with that because I was doing that to my own self.
Mm-hmm. Oh, another call. Yeah, we got another call.
Here we go, baby. I'm back on. I ain't joking. I threw a Judy chop and it hung up. It was great.
Okay.
But, you know, I can be honest and say that, you know, in ways, yes, I can see where I possibly could have been throwing some hills and rocks in her game. But do I think I completely ruined her game? No.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I don't think you ruined her game either. There's so many ways to play Big Brother, and having somebody who's capable of winning comps, crushing on you, and wanting to keep you around is not a bad thing. Okay? Right. So when she started to target you to get you out so that, like, her game could be better, I feel like that's what ruined her game. But anyway, that's just one thing I wanted to kind of ask you about. Amber, let's talk about let's kind of get us past pre-jury. And the last thing we'll talk about pre-jury, unless we bounce back to something, is talk about Zach's veto meeting rant. When Amber was put on the block, Zach got up talking about, you know, that's when he threw in there, you know, he ate a pickle.
My God, that thing was nasty too.
I hate pickles worse than anybody, so I know what that means. If you ate a pickle for somebody, I wouldn't eat a pickle for my girlfriend. I've been with her for nearly 3.5 years.
Golly. Well.
So, that was amazing.
Are we talking about me eating pickles?
No.
Okay.
Let's talk about Zach's rant and when Amber went on the block and all this kind of stuff. Because you were just sitting there kind of wide-eyed. Tell us just about what you wrote through your mind during Zach attack.
Well, we kind of had that speech figured out. Everyone that watches live feeds, TVGN, they all knew that the speech was planned.
Mm-hmm.
It was nothing that was spontaneous. Even though Zach does come off the wall with stuff like that all the time, and I love Zach for that. He's spontaneous. He's got his own personality that throws a twist on things that is unstraightable. Like it's really it's crazy, but. During that veto meeting, I was expecting all that to go down, but in a way, it was like, it was.
Did you fake a reaction then? Were you kind of like, oh, what's going on? Were you trying to fake it? Were you just kind of like playing along?
No, I was just like looking at Zach. Of course, I was given the facial features of like, whoa, like
surprised.
Golly, he's tearing her alive right now, and she ain't saying nothing.
Yeah.
Like in a way, I kind of felt bad because I was like, dang, I played a part in this, and she just got crushed on TV, and I feel bad. But at the same time, I was letting my emotions get the best of me, and and I'm okay with saying that. My emotions were getting the best of me, and she was just trying to play her game, but it was planned, and Zach did not like Amber. He wanted her gone way before, so he was ready to crush her. He's like, dude, I just want to. Let me crush her, man. Let me crush her, and it was like, all right, dude, yeah, get up there and do your thing, man. And, and he's like, I'm going to add some stuff in there and just going to, do my thing and just crush her. And, at the moment I was like, maybe this is some stuff she needs to hear. I really don't know. I mean, it may make her mad, or it may, she may defend herself and stand up and start cussing at all of us. I don't know what she's going to do. But, she done exactly what we all, in a way thought she'd do. Is she just sat there and looked at everybody, because everything Zach said, it was truth. It was truthful, and so with that being said, that's Zach, and, it was kind of cool and funny that he done it, but
well,
I'm sure people didn't like that too much.
Like after
finding out, it was amazing.
Yeah, it was great. It was great for sure. Yeah, it was good. We lost McCrae. We'll keep going without him. I don't know what's up with him. Okay, let's. I'm gonna ask you a couple of fan questions right quick.
All right.
Let's talk about. Okay, here's a good one from @JackieKnows on Twitter. Wants to know when Christine gave you that bone in the Battle of the Block competition, the black box. What do we not know about that? Did they tell us whether they accepted that bone? If you couldn't use it, just go through that.
Well, Christine, there was 2 times. The first time, literally when the game just started, I was, of course we're filling around everywhere. We can't see nothing. We're pitch black. I'm filling in goo. I'm rolling around on the ground like a ninja with no legs. I don't know what's going on. And then all of a sudden she was like, here. And she and I was like, I knew it was her because it was a plan to throw it anyway.
Sure.
And so, she was like, well, if I find a bone, I'm just going to try to give it to them. And, now I wasn't expecting that, but she was like, here's a bone. And so I grabbed it, but it didn't fit. So, that was the first time. But yes, they didn't say nothing to us. And then, there was another time in there where I felt a bone and I knew someone had it and I yanked it from them. And then I heard Christine. She was like, "Hey!" She did this. Like, "Hey, you cut my bone." And I was like, and when that happened, the producer was like, "Hey, Caleb, give her back her bone. You're not allowed to do that." So I just threw it. Like I was like, "I'm not giving her back that bone. I stole it fair and square."
Stole it fair and square. Perfect.
Yeah, stole it fair and square. There was 2 times that happened, and one was yes, she did give it to me. The other time I straight stole that joker.
Stole that bone.
Yeah,
Give a dog a bone.
I couldn't buy a bone. I couldn't use Donnie's nose and find a bone, and so I had to get somebody. I had to get a bone.
Golly. Hey, while you're talking about Donnie, hey, since you mentioned Donnie, like, what was it with Donnie in the house that people could just not warm up to or relate to? Because obviously with America's favorite player and just the fans, where he has a huge fan base, people love Donnie.
Right.
I mean, I attribute a lot of that to the fact that he was on the outsides. He was kind of the underdog. But at the same time, I mean, the dude seems lovable. Y'all just did Devin sour that so early it was impossible for anybody else to work with Donnie, or what happened?
I can't speak for the other 14 house guests in that situation. I can only speak for myself. I really liked Donnie, but that came later on. Devin really did. He threw something at the very beginning of the game. We got to get him out. I don't believe him. He's a liar. Blah blah blah. And when that happened, I think we all sort of turned our back on Donnie, and we just we didn't really know what much to think about Donnie. We all just kind of went with what Devin said, and we just tried to get him out. It was like, well, cool. We're just going to believe Devin on this and get him out. But, throughout the game, Donnie just really didn't talk too much game with anybody. And for me, that's kind of what threw me for a loop. I'm like, man, here and there I try to throw a little bit of game at Donnie, and he just don't care to talk any game. But, I'm not going to take away from the guy. I mean, the guy's daggum beard can throw karate kicks that Jet Li can't even do, So, he was a tough competitor. He has a huge heart, and he is a lovable guy. He has he's just an amazing guy. And, just him being on the outside also had an effect, on why people just didn't get not so much didn't get along with him, but really didn't want to work with him because maybe they felt that he didn't want to work with them because he never spoke game with not one person, to my knowledge. I would try here and there, and it seemed like he just brushed it off and, well, I don't want to talk about that too much. It was always something. And so Donnie was kind of on the outs the whole time, but as a person and as a guy, I completely see why America loved him because he was just he was a funny guy, man. He's got a huge salt and pepper beard, and people just mistake it. They think that he's broke and he's real fragile, but he's not, man. He's a tough guy, and he's a tough competitor. He has a good head on his shoulders, and he's a lovable guy. So, kudos to that. Of course he would be America's favorite player. I mean, he's an amazing guy.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. What have you been the most shocked to find out since you've been outside the house? I'm not talking about outside the house stuff. I'm not talking about celebrity deaths or anything like that.
Right.
But just like what happened in the game. Tell us about when you first started to find out, maybe about the Detonators or all that. Kind of go with that.
I'll be honest with you. I think the thing that surprised me the most when I got out is I was looked at the very beginning of the season as a homophobe and a racist. I've never been called that my whole entire life. I've never been looked at as that kind of guy, and I'm not sure if it's because of past Big Brother seasons and people making the mistakes of saying certain things that done that, and so they're like, oh, hey, we got a good old boy from the South. Let's try to pick on him, and I'm not sure if that's how it was looked at, or let's see if we can pull something from his history where he's looked at it in this way. And, so for me coming out and, hearing that kind of stuff, it's like I've never been like that in my entire life. So for me, and that stuff was happening week 1 and week 2 in the house. And, the thing that I'm proud of is the fact that I think it was night 1 or night 2. It wasn't that long in the house. Frankie was in his dang leopard thong hanging out with me in the bed, cuddling with me. So I think
it's the perfect place to cut off.
Hey,
that's
sorry,
be a sponsor.
All right, so, so the things that were going on with Frankie and I think that crushed the whole homophobe thing. Obviously, we got this guy all wrong because that's not him. And then Devin being one of my best friends in the house, I spent every day with him. We cooked, we ate together, we worked out together. And that was another thing that I think that just crushed the media. And they were like, wow, maybe we got this guy all wrong. Coming out of the house, hearing those things is really what that tore me up quite a bit to hear them things about me that have never been true in my entire life. And, those kind of touched home a little bit because that's just not who I am.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Caleb.
I know that.
I tell you, what's that?
I was going to say that. Go on.
Well, your brother that ran your Twitter, was that right? Your brother that was running your Twitter while you were gone?
Yeah.
You should attribute a lot of the spin to him, okay?
Right.
Because we know what you are. We know you're a good guy. We know that you're not racist or homophobe, all that kind of stuff. But the world loves to hate. And your brother kept putting out positive stuff every single day about how a good guy you are, how funny you are, how you're doing this, how you're loyal, how you're honest, what's your favorite beast mode cowboy quotes, all this kind of stuff. Like he made it very in vogue to be your fan, and because of your personality unfolding on the show, to where people saw that you're not a collection of comments, you're a growing you're a growing, maturing human being. That thought processes change as they get older, and there's all this kind of stuff, and people were able to really see that in you. And I know that your perspective is really skewed because you have no idea outside the house when you're inside the house. But from looking outside, looking in, I can tell you that you need to go hug your brother and your family and whoever maintains your Twitter and your social media, because they kept pumping good stuff into the pipeline, and before long, that's all it was good stuff. So, so that's even more so to your family than anything else. You should really thank them for that.
Yeah.
So, but that was trust me. If anybody can understand that shocking information, I've received basically the same thing. You got it taken care of, buddy, and well deserved. Any of those names that people like to call other people just to categorize them are silly. You're obviously not racist, not homophobe, any of that. Your actions in the house over 90 days prove that. So it's asinine to think any different. Let's go. I've got some more fan questions here. Let me look through here and find one thing that I would like to know is I'm kind of fast forwarding a little bit to the end. We're going to jump around now that we're kind of in the jury already. But as far as Cody's speech in the end versus Derek, what could he have said? What could he have said to you to have gotten his vote?
Well, I'm just going to be honest. There was nothing he could have said to me that he would have got my vote. And that strictly goes down to my loyalty towards Derek. I was loyal to Derek the night that Amber tried to put Derek on the block, and I told Amber, if you put Derek on the block, you might as well put me right next to him, because that's my right hand man right there. And from that moment on, Derek told me, hey, I got your back until the end, and I got yours too. And we had been loyal to each other that entire game. And Cody and Frankie both had thrown up that Derek had never been on the block before when it came to me towards the end of the game about Derek had never been up. There's been so many noms. He's never been up, not one time. So this and that. I don't care. I looked at my loyalty and who I was as a game player. I oversaw that, and I was like, I'm not going to put him up. It's just simple as that. So when it came down to that speech, he got all teary-eyed up, and that meant more to me than the words he was saying, because that showed true emotion. And, the words you can say, you can memorize a line and not have any feeling behind it. But one thing that when I did see him start sobbing a little bit and his eyes started watering up, I could tell at that moment that his heart was involved, and it did upset him. When it came down to it, I had to give my vote to Derek because he had my vote from that moment. We made that pact. If he was in the end, he had my vote over anybody.
Okay. So you're saying like your vote for Derek was pretty much cinched early in the game if he'd gotten there versus anybody. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, of course it's subject to change as the game goes on. Now if he would have won and just put me up, or if he would have tried to blindside me and I saved myself, or if he would have stabbed me in the back and I heard about it, all that good stuff, yeah, of course, then my mind could have possibly been altered, changed due to the things that's happened in the house. But with what, how the game had progressed and how it went forward, I still felt like Derek was loyal to me over the other guys. So, to me, we were still closer than Cody and I were. And I was just going to be the loyal guy that I was throughout the whole game and keep my vote the same.
Okay, so basically it helped Derek's game out that he threw the last power veto and Cody won it. So Cody would be the one sending you home. It helped his game because he didn't look like more so than anything, it looks like Cody backstabbed me than Derek backstabbed me. Okay. Do you feel at this point, I'm not backtracking on Derek's game. He did what he needed to do and he won. He played an excellent game. But I'm trying to think, would the knowledge of any of that have changed your vote?
Oh, if I would have known he threw the veto so Cody would win it?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, that would have definitely gave me something to think about for sure.
Okay.
Knowing that he was a big hand behind it.
What if you'd known about Team America and the money that Derek had already won? Would you, especially because it cost Zach his game? It caused Team America caused lots of chaos in the house. If you'd known that Derek had already won money, would that have influenced your vote any at all?
Well, I didn't. I don't look too much into that. This guy already won money, so I want to send him out.
Sure.
This guy already won. He won a stipend. He won this. He's already got enough money. Let's send him home. That's not how I was looking at it.
Okay.
But going back on what you said, if I did, now that I know these things about Team America, and I know that they were, he had a big hand in this. He threw this competition, so he didn't look like the bad guy and all this stuff. Yes, it would have altered my vote. Although what I've had to think about it, yes, because at the end, Cody was the main reason. To my eyes, Cody was the reason I went home. He had a choice. The choice wasn't Derek's; it was Cody's. Because Cody had all the power. If Cody wanted to keep me,
sure,
he could have kept me. So, in a way, that part of it to me doesn't matter. He just done what was best for his game at that point. I think everything else was beside the fact. When he was standing up there and he thought it could be my game to take Caleb, or I would be safe going with Derek if I keep Victoria. So I think all the rest of that stuff was out of the window. I just think maybe, he'd done what was best for his game when he was up there deciding.
Okay. Since we're still talking about voting a little bit, let's talk about, say, if Cody had won that final HOH and sent Derek packing. Okay, how would you have voted?
If it was Cody and Victoria?
Cody and Victoria on final two, how would you have voted?
There was a lot of say and whatnot about I'd pick Victoria, I would pick Cody, it was going back and forth. Because we had quite a few of us had made a pact earlier in the game. If you're going to be, if you're going to be that guy to take Victoria, we're going to vote for her just out of spite, just to, because we had, we had a pact with one another. We're not going to give you the money. But when I looked at it, I look at more of the deserving. I look at a guy that's won more comps. I look at a guy that's made big game decisions. I look at a guy that has fought in numerous competitions and worked his butt off to get to where he is, and has played his game very strong. I would get, I'd have had to give my vote to Cody due to his gameplay. And once again, he was in my alliance. So once again, that shows a little bit more of the loyalty. But it's with him evicting me, I kind of had a sore butt about it. I was a little bit upset about it. But it's Big Brother. If you get voted out, you keep your chin high. You walk out loud and proud, and you wish the other people in the house the best of luck. I would have had to give my vote to Cody because I feel like as a game player in the game, he deserved it.
Okay, well, good.
Yeah.
I personally,
I know that, like,
say that.
Like all of us playing, all of us have been evicted. It always sucks, and you're gonna have a lot of regrets. I mean, we always say like, "Oh, no regrets," but like you will be laying in bed thinking about that. Like, do you have any one move that you think that you would want to do differently if you had another chance, or if you could go back and change one thing? Like, what would it be, or would you just play it the same?
Be honest, I've switched my answer numerous times to this question. But I think I've got one, and I'm going to stick to it because I really feel that way. From my heart, I honestly feel it. But I feel like if I would have kept Frankie one more week, I possibly could have won that whole game. Because, I didn't know if he had my back or not. I just started thinking beast mode at that point. I thought Frankie is one of the biggest beasts in this house. And, I don't think he would take me to the end if he had the chance, because I would be one of the guys that would possibly beat him in the end. So if I believe that if he had the chance, he was going to get me out first before I got him. And that's why I made that decision along with Derek and Cody whistling my ears, telling me, well, we got to get rid of Frankie, man. He's too big of a beast, So with them two helping me on the decision, if I was to go back, I would probably wish that I kept Frankie just for one more week, and and possibly I would have either made final 3, final 2, or possibly even winning the game, keeping Frankie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you live and you learn. I don't know.
Well,
yeah.
It is hard to say, Caleb, for sure. Do you think hindsight being 2020? I don't know that much would have mattered, but you're volunteering to go on the block. I mean, things like that. What are you 4 times? I know 4 times. So yeah, survive 3 of them.
That's a man.
Like, I volunteered to go on the block 1 time against a man in my season. Okay, like just outright, I'll do it. You did that 4 times, and like it's kind of odd because after talking to you about your military stuff, you said you volunteered to deploy to go to Iraq because you felt like that was the right thing to do. You are true and loyal and honest, and I mean it's like the things that the integrity, all of those to me is military values. So like you're going on the block. I mean it's funny how you mentioned you weren't afraid to go to Baghdad, you weren't afraid to go on the block. Things like that. They're obviously completely different worlds. However, but however, it's still that mentality. And is that what it was? Did you feel like it was your part in the bomb squad to be the guy that's holding that place? And that way, and I admit it, if you made it to the final 2, Caleb, you could have easily said, I volunteered to go block 4 times. None of y'all did that. I'm still here. It would have been tremendous to hang your hat on. Is that why you did it, or did you do it out of loyalty? Were you thinking in game with it? What was the volunteering to go on the block? What was your mind state with that?
I took my day in the Big Brother house day by day. I didn't make any small decision. Well, putting myself on the block's a big decision, but I didn't make any decision based on, well, in my final 2 speech, if I say I nominated myself, maybe they'll pick me. I did see more loyalty. And just like I said before, obviously that got the best of me, being too loyal, being too trustworthy. But at the same time, I thought, of course, I was on beast mode at that moment, and I thought if I go on the block, I put myself up there, I'm saving the rest of my alliance members from being put up. If anything, I've got half the house in my alliance. Hopefully, one of them win the veto and pull me off.
Yeah.
Or I'm strong enough and a tough enough competitor, I'll pull myself off the block.
Yeah.
But that was my mentality. It was, hey, man, I mean, I'm here to play a game. I want to play as many of these dadgum games as I can, and I want to get up there and fight my little butt off. I'm going to give 110% every time I go in and play. And, I'll nominate myself so you guys don't have to. I'll make it easier on us because you can't just keep putting the same people up all season because it'll get picked up on real quick. So for me, it was like, okay, you're going to put them up, put me up with them. I'll either, And
you are a brave man.
Very brave.
It was more so about keeping my loyalty to the guys that I made a pact with in week 1. That basically draws the line of why I done those things is so they wouldn't have to do it.
Okay. That's pretty much what we saw, and I just wanted to know if there's any more behind your thinking with that. I'd like to talk about lies right quick. Okay. Lies and lying.
Okay, lies.
As far as your game is concerned, what lies were told to you, whether it be from Frankie, Derek, whoever, we want to know who lied to you, what lies changed the way you played the game? If those had not been told to you, you would have done different things. What are like a couple, if you can remember, 1 or 2 of the biggest lies that really kind of molded the way you played the game that you wish you'd known the truth?
Well, I'm going to throw out the biggest one, and it's one of the biggest things that is being tweeted about every day, and it's the whole Amber situation. The guys were constantly telling me, hey, Amber, man, she's feeling you, dude. I can tell. She likes you. I mean, come on, man. She's dancing around with you in the mornings. She's into you, dude. Just, give it time, blah, blah, blah. And if I just would have been told, hey, man, she's not into you, or if she would have said, hey, bud, you're a nice guy, but I'm just not attracted to you in that way, I would have opened up and been the clown and been the entertainment that I became at the very beginning of this show. Because, you know, I can admit it. It did tear my game apart during all that because I wasn't focused on the game. I was focused on other things, and that hurt my game, you know, obviously in its own way. So that's probably one of the ones that I just really wish that from the get-go I would have been told, you know, hey, she's not interested. That way I could have moved on and done my own thing, but they kept throwing up at me that, you know, she was interested. She did like me. She does have the hots for me. She told me the other day that she thought you were one of the most attractive, most genuine men she'd ever met. They kept, you know, they kept throwing all these things up at me, and what am I supposed to do? I mean, you know what I mean? It's like,
sure.
Am I just supposed to stop, run from the situation, or am I supposed to, you know, when I want something, go for it and go until you get it, you know? And that's how my mentality was. And but I was being lied to, obviously, the whole first half of the season. So, but, you know, once again, I feel like they were doing that stuff to weaken me as a competitor, weaken my gameplay. So, you know, you know, in a way, I don't blame them for doing it, but in a way, you know, I'm getting looked at as this like huge stalker guy, but I was only, you know, I'm sorry that I had a crush on somebody and I went for something that I wanted.
Absolutely.
You know,
no.
You know, and it didn't work that way, but I just wish from the very get-go that I was told that she wasn't into me like that, because it would have ended at the very beginning. And I told her that. I told her it numerous times. You know.
Go ahead, McCrae.
We've talked about this so much on the block. We talked about your relationship with Amber and how, in our opinions, that actually was the best thing that could have ever happened to you, because you weren't playing the game in the beginning. You didn't need to play the game in the beginning. You were in that cocoon, you know. So when she left, it all came out, and you were already in such a good position with all these guys that wanted to stay loyal to you, you know. In a way, that lie, I think, really did help your game. I don't, like, that's just from our outside perspective.
Right.
Really did help. I think, I don't know, that's what we always say on this show, I guess.
Yes, I agree, Caleb, that did help your game, because by the time Amber left, Zach had already basically shit the bed, and everybody was up for Zach can't stay around too long. He's going to blow everything up, okay?
Right.
So, like, that did help you. Now, as far as, if you will, allow me to address the stalker, all that kind of stuff, all that kind of bullshit. All right. This is the way I look at it. And McCrae, you can stop me if I'm wrong. If you don't agree with me in the comments, put it in the comments. But I said this on the block before, and this is how I firmly feel about it. Okay, when you're in the house, okay, just say you've got a crush. And everybody's had like a schoolboy crush on somebody. You can't help it. They're the most attractive thing you've ever seen. You're looking at them, you know, that kind of stuff. All right.
Right.
But then, so like people are watching you on the live feeds, being like, "Oh, Caleb's looking at her." It's like, well, you're looking at Caleb, okay? And so this is. I said all that to say this: you were kind, you were endearing, you were almost like, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, but like almost like a puppy dog type love. You were very kind. It showed a lot of heart and a lot of sweetness. Dude, you put blankets on her when she was cold, all right? You know, you might catch some shit about hitting her with a pillow, but that was obviously playful and the dumbest thing I've ever heard people that crazy about. But no, it's like that showed like to me, and honestly, you'll see it in Twitter if you go back through tweets and stuff, is people like will be like, I love Caleb. He's the sweetest guy in the world. She's being this or whatever. And then when she left, people would tweet, my God, if Amber had seen this Caleb, she'd have been all over him. You know, just things like that. So, like, people early on want somebody to be mad at, but then when you came across as so endearing, I mean, the tide's turned, brother. I mean, really. But, no, you handled yourself in with that situation with being egged on by people telling you one thing that wasn't actually true, which was feeding your infatuation with her. You handled yourself with a lot of class, respect. You weren't being mean to her. You handled it a lot better than, like, I think I would have handled it, to be honest with you. I would have been upset. I'd have had my feelings hurt. You handled it with your head up, and don't let any of that stalker shit get under your skin.
Right.
That's if anybody's ever tapped that to Caleb, they're an idiot, because that's obviously they don't know what they're talking about. They're just wanting to be loudmouth on social media. So. Right. But anything else?
I appreciate that.
No, it's serious, it's honest, and like I said, like McCrae said, we've covered it in our podcast before. We think that that was really, and I told McCrae, I think that you did it unknowingly, but it's a brilliant move to get in the house and act totally distracted by something not game related. And I mean, it was, like I said, it wasn't a strategy, but it ended up working for you, and I'm glad it did. I'm glad you got far, and people were able to get to know the Caleb and the Beast Mode Cowboy that we all do know.
You guys didn't know that was part of my strategy to do
that? You're brilliant! You're
brilliant! Yeah, amazing.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No, completely just it was all real.
That's great.
No, obviously. But Caleb, is there any? I think we should probably kind of wind it up.
I've got a good question that I've seen a lot. A lot of people, all the girls, everyone wants to know what's next for Caleb.
You know, I'm asking myself that same question. What's next for Caleb? You know, before going into the house, I was in the process of becoming, you know, in the music industry, being a country music artist. You know, I've been in studios singing and doing my own thing. I've got the connections, and so you know, right now I'm focused on getting my clothing line done and pushing my clothes and just traveling, meeting with all the fans, meeting and greeting, going to Canada, Dallas, Houston, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, New York. So you know, for the most part, me and my family, we do the hunting business with Fat Neck Outdoors. You know, so we have people coming in, we take them hunting. We've got a lot of stuff going on with that right now. So more so than anything, you know, probably entertainment. I'm going to be in the entertainment, doing something.
Awesome.
I'm actually going to Nashville tomorrow night to meet with a huge guy in the music industry. He wants to talk to me and hear me sing a little bit. So,
hell yeah,
that'd be awesome.
More than likely, I'm probably going to end up being in the country music industry singing. And you know, if
awesome.
not that as a full-time thing, I'm probably going to be in entertainment. Whether it be me just being
you're natural, dude.
You know, it's entertainment. I love entertaining. I love making people laugh. You know, I love taking people that feel like they're down in life and they have nothing left to give, and they're just at the bottom of the pit. I want to raise them up. You know, I want to put a smile on their face and let them know that there's much more to life than what's going on in your situation. And you know, that's kind of how I've always been. You know, I want.
That's why you are an amazing man. That's why you are just like the top. Like that is the coolest thing I've ever heard. Like that means so much. And like I don't know, you are a shining star. Like the sky is your limit, dude. I know that you will be doing. You are destined for great things. I honestly believe that.
Well,
I do.
I firmly believe that anybody that you know, enlisted in the military, volunteered to go fight in Baghdad, that gets, you know, 4th place on the hardest competition, reality competition on TV. And shit, if you can carry a tune in a bucket, brother, I don't think there's anything you can't do. You know, with those accomplishments in your resume. Hey, with your singing, I know that in the house you were talking about there might be like a duet with Ariana Grande. Have y'all had a chance to work out any of those details?
No, you know, people, you know, for me it was just a joke, you know, because the girl is one of the best singers I've ever heard in my life. You know, and I'm just a regular good old country singer. Of course, I got some jazz and some blues and a little bit of R&B down in my soul a little bit. But you know, for the most part, I was just kidding. I have seen it all, you know, on Twitter quite a few times. Hey, where's the Ariana Grande and Beast Mode Cowboy duet? You know, I've seen it here and there, but you know, more than anything, you know, I think it's just a joke. I mean, don't get me wrong. If she calls out for Beast Mode to hit a line in one of her songs, I'm gonna get up there and do the hoedown and take my crap kickers and go up on her and do my thing, you know. But you know, for the like, she actually just recently posted a video of me singing her song to her on her Instagram.
Yeah.
But you know, that was just me being goofy. That was Caleb. You know, that was. You know, hey Ariana, this is, you know, you think you're a good singer, check it out. You know, it was, you know, me
amazing.
And of course, she's like, you know, work Beast Mode, you know, because she enjoys it. So it's kind of,
that's super cool. Super cool. Super cool,
you know, I don't believe that's going to happen. I do know one thing, though, and the world that is fans of Frankie and I, we're gonna bring him down here to Kentucky, and we got him we're gonna get him some of the coolest pink camouflage you can buy. We're gonna get him in his pink mohawk, and his old Nike shoes, and his glitter. We're gonna get him out here in a deer stand doing some hunting with us, and that'd be so great. Thing. Yeah, we're gonna take him mudding. We're gonna take him four-wheeling, shooting guns. We're gonna show him around the country boys world around here in Kentucky and see how he handles it. So that's gonna be some fun stuff.
Well, you better send out some Instagram videos and some pictures. I want to see Frankie in some pink camo for sure.
Hey, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Sweet. Hey, as far as the entertainment business, bro, if make your fortune, win you a couple of Grammys, but I see you as a stunt man for some reason. You got stunt man written all over you.
By golly, I'd be a stunt man if that's what it. Hey, I hurt myself a few times, so it ain't nobody else got to. There
you go. So some people were saying you look like Jeremy Renner from the Avengers. He played Hawkeye, and maybe you can jump in on some of the action.
Oh yeah, the town.
Hey, all they got to do is ask me, and I'm down. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Hell yeah, your bags are packed. I understand that. Yeah. Well, is there anything else? Caleb, tell them right quick where they can follow you. Tell them all your Instagram and your Twitter handles and everything else.
Okay, I do apologize to everybody at the very beginning. All my stuff was deleted, so everyone that was following me before, I do apologize that it was deleted. But now you can follow me at my Twitter handle is BBTeamCaleb, and my Instagram is BMC_BB16. I have been really good so far. I'm going to give myself some kudos. I've been connecting with my fans a lot. I've been receiving a lot of fan mail, and I'm trying to even kick a bunch. And then they're like, of course, my fans are like, oh, this ain't the real Caleb. And I'm like, yeah, it is. No, it ain't. I'm like, okay, well, I can't convince you that way. I'm sorry. But, it's interacting with my fans, and, the fans that I got, I do appreciate, and I'm very blessed to have. And, I love it, and just keep following me. And I'm going to have a YouTube channel coming up soon, and hopefully I can keep giving you guys a little bit of Beast Mode Cowboy, Stealth Mode Ninja, some Judy chops, a little bit of Heard That and Dad Gum. I hope I can give all you guys some stuff to laugh at and keep in touch with me. And,
heard that. Oh so my God, my favorite.
I do want to appreciate you, McCrae, and you, Spencer, for having me on here live to connect and answer questions. It's been a good time. I do appreciate you guys for inviting me on here. And anytime you guys want to talk or ask me some more questions or just have a short interview, all you got to do is holla, open up that holla.
Hell yeah!
Heard that.
Yeah. Well, Beast Mode. Hey, we might get you to sing our write and sing our theme song. We're trying to find a theme song for On the Block, so maybe we get some Beast Mode lyrics down.
All right, well, I'll start writing them. You just tell me when.
All right, buddy. All right. Well, Caleb, we really appreciate it. We're going to sign off here, but thank you, everybody. Follow me at Spencer B. Clausen on Twitter. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be having more Big Brother 16 jury interviews coming up soon. In fact, we're going to do Hayden's today. McCrae, what else? You got anything, buddy?
Nothing. McCrae Chum. At McCrae Chum. Thanks, guys, for watching.
Yeah, McCrae Chum. All right. Share this late. Bye.